Alright, so I know nobody asked for this, but I am going to do a rendering process tutorial. This video is going to be pretty long, not insane, but it's getting pretty close. So first what I do is I get a reference, of course. You need an accurate reference of what lighting you want, pose, etc. Then we want to do line art. I am not going to bore you with that, so I'll skip to the start of the render process. Alright, to begin you want to get a mid-tone, like a base color for your skin tone. Then fill in all of the skin parts of your drawing on another layer, never do it on the same layer. Now that we have that done, get a slightly darker and saturated shade of your skin tone and outline all of your main details within the face, such as jawline, nose, mouth, eyes, and ears. This is important so we know where everything is for shading. Then for shading, just shade whatever you think will be in shadow, such as the jaw, eyes, back of neck, etc. It doesn't matter how much you do this, but you want to gradually get a darker and darker color as you go. You will see me doing this later. Once you have the first layer of shading done, I usually then mark out the eyes with white or a sclera color. Doesn't matter when you do this in the process, but I usually recommend doing it before or after the first layer shading. Remember that eyes that are in shadow will be darker, including the sclera, so choose a dark gray if they are in shadow. I had to continuously fix the eyes as I went, so always have it on another separate layer for when you need to change the brightness. This is the same for the irises. Eyes will be brighter in the light and darker in shadow. Sometimes the iris can look like a bright blue and sometimes it will look black. It all depends on lighting. Then begins the process of continuously shading darker and darker. I usually save lighter tones for later, but it doesn't matter how you do it. Make sure you trust the process. It can look wonky at first, but if you trust yourself and add more finer details, it starts to all come together. You also want to remember to add your undertones. These are usually red and are found on the cheeks, around the nose area, forehead, lips, ears, and sometimes very lightly near the jaw. Usually these will appear in different intensities that vary from person to person or conditions. For example, if your scene is cold, your character will be more pale, not red. This is because the body constricts blood vessels in the periphery, like the skin, to conserve heat for vital organs, reducing blood flow to the skin and making it appear paler. And when your scene is hot, your character will get more red. This is because when the body gets overheated, blood vessels near the skin surface dilate, widen to release heat, causing the skin to appear flushed or reddish. You should always remember your anatomy for tones like what I just mentioned. And undertones, as I mentioned, are most important. Always remember, when a person gets hot or even embarrassed or flustered, the cheeks, nose, chin, and forehead are the most common areas of the face to become red because the blood vessels are closer to the surface in these areas. The redness can be more noticeable on lighter skin tones, while on darker skin tones it may appear as discoloration or darkening. When a person gets cold, the face and other extremities tend to become pale due to vasoconstriction. With less blood flow, the skin receives less oxygen, which can lead to a lighter, paler appearance. Most of the face is usually affected due to the cold, plus other areas like fingers, toes, ears, and the nose are also prone to turning pale. In some individuals, this vasoconstriction can be more pronounced and lead to Raynaud's phenomenon, where the affected areas may turn white, then blue, and then red as blood flow is restored. Sometimes, the face can appear red when cold as well. This occurs because the body's natural response to cold is to constrict blood vessels in the extremities to conserve heat, and then dilate them to increase blood flow to the face. So it all depends on the person. Anyways, that's all I have. One thing I forgot to mention was during the render process, always outline your details darker and darker as the surrounding areas get darker, like what we did at the beginning. This helps things look more pronounced and less like a single blob mass of a face. You see me doing this in multiple areas, including the areas I circled. Anyways, thanks for watching. I might do a body render process next, or hair, though I am not good at hair RN.